What's up, guys? We are back with the Changing Leagues Keeping Dreams podcast. I'm here with my co host, Seaver King. Say what's up, Steve.
Yo.
And we got a very special guest on today. No other than Mr. Jac Caglianone. I don't think Jack needs much of an introduction, but the Rawlings National Player of the Year, the home run king from last year, and the current BB Core home run record for the NCAA baseball with 33 last year. So welcome in, Jack. Pleasure to have you, man.
What's up, guys? Thank y'all for having me.
And so just a little background to the viewers. So Seaver and Jack just met each other last summer playing for Team USA, and me and Jack actually played high school baseball together at HB Plant High School here in Tampa, Florida. So we're all pretty well acquainted, and all three of us will have the pleasure of playing Division One baseball this year. Don't know when our paths will cross, but if they do, I know me and Jack got a little bit of a weekend meeting, right? Miami and Florida play each other every year.
Yeah, we'll come down to y'all
So
this year.
I already know my hamstring gonna be tight when Jack's pitching, so maybe I'll see him next year. Nah, I'm playing. But just to get into stuff real quick. So let's start with Team USA. So both of you guys, obviously, the probably the coolest honor you could have playing baseball is representing the country. So why don't you guys just take us a little bit about what that summer was about? Meeting players that you just competed against and now putting the same uniform on.
Yeah, I mean, going into it, you kind of don't really know what to expect. You got really all the top guys from all over the country. You never really know how guys are going to be and stuff like that. But it turned out to be a really great group. Me and Seaver, we're busting each other's butts half the time, just sharing laughs, and it was honestly a great time. It's something that I'll probably remember for the rest of my life.
Yeah. I do remember after Omaha, we were all watching it, and then all of a sudden, Cag's just on the bus, just chilling. And we're like, oh, like, never met this kid. What's he gonna be like? Immediately we're just start cracking jokes like right away. And I was like, all right, like he's just another guy. And me and him ended up sharing the same side of the infield most of the time. Just chilling, cracking jokes. But yeah, I mean, I feel like just getting to know top athletes like Jack and others among that. It was just a fun experience for me, first of all. But now we got experiences and friendships that are last the lifetime. Given we're talking here, so yeah, it was a great time.
Yeah, and as we talked about last week, I was actually tuning in. I seen my boy Jack put a ball off the catwalk in center. Seaver with a little triple. So Jack, I gotta know, Seaver hits that triple, he hits the floor. What you thinking for my boy?
One, I was like, who the heck is this guy? I had no idea like who half the people I was playing with really were because West Coast guys, like big time transfer like Seaver is. You see this dude bust out on the scene. He's making diving plays. He's roping balls, and you're like, dang, all right, like this dude's legit for sure. Um, it was awesome. I mean, getting to know these guys and spending a week and a half in a hotel together, all but like you're nonstop with each other. You're making these bonds and stuff, and I would say me and Seaver probably. I mean, we got a couple side jokes running that probably wouldn't be too good to say, but but we got them. And I don't know, man. We talk just about every day, Snapchat through all that. So I mean, he's a dog, that's for sure.
Yeah, to say the least, that man's a dog. And so Seaver, what was the dynamic like going to Team USA and coming from Wingate? Was some people asking about what D2 ball is, or did that Wake Forest commitment kind of already solidify things for you?
Yeah, I mean, it was a little bit of both, I would say. I mean, like, I was kind of, they'd be like, I'd tell them where I'm from. They'd be like, Winthrop? I'm like, nah, it's division. Like, I just kind of didn't want to, like, make it a big deal. So I just kind of D2, blah, 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 and then asked where I was going and, stuff like that. But it wasn't like, nobody, everybody was really, like, just, like, open to everybody. Like, nobody really was like, oh, you know, Jack's the number one home run king. We're not going to say anything to him or whatever. Like, he was getting as much shit or as much crap as we were, as than anybody else than I was. So it was like, you know, nothing. Just like the status really didn't matter. We were all playing for the same thing, same goal, and it's just kind of how it went.
Yeah. One thing I've kind of noticed throughout my baseball career, the players who are really good kind of don't have to tell you. You know what I mean? They treat others with respect. They're good teammates. The guys who are usually the loudest in the room are usually the guys who aren't so sure about themselves and they're trying to kind of put up that persona that I'm him type of deal. But
Yeah.
so Jack, to kind of change pages a little bit, let's go back, all right? So you transfer into Plant High School as a sophomore, coming from Berkeley Prep, and right away, I mean, you were a huge addition to our team. We had lost Chase Sanguinetti the year before, needed a first baseman, and you came in and not only filled that role, but immediately went straight to the three hole, right? I was hitting behind you in the four spot, and I got a vivid memory because this is when old Jackie was still 15 years old, I believe. So man's needed a ride around town quite often. And lucky me, I'm taking him home, right? And Buddy tells me, hold on, I got to run into Coach Braun's office. We got a quick phone call. We're going to talk to old Soli at Florida. I'll be right back. And Jack, why don't you take the story from here because Jack didn't come right back.
Yeah, so I just threw. We played Brandon High School the night before. Um, you know, I think I hit like 87 or 88. I had like an unofficial visit to Florida my freshman year and was just at the time I threw like 83. So I was like, all right, like this is just kind of like a handout, like trying to feel bad, like oh yeah, you can look, but ain't nothing gonna come from it. And Craig Bell comes and watches me pitch. That night, Braun tells me that they want to offer, and I mean, it was kind of I don't know. It was like destiny, man. It was 2 hours away from home. It was like everything that I wanted in a school, especially. I mean, it was like 2018 or 2019, so it was a year or two after the Natty. So I was like, all right, like they're legit. This place is awesome. Like I get the offer, I'm gone, like 1,000%. So the day I wanted to commit, I was like, hey JD, I'm gonna need a ride home, whatever. JD was always very generous and was always like, yeah, man, I got you. Tell him it's gonna be about 5-10 minutes, and I think I spent an hour and a half or 2 hours sitting in Braun's office talking about all like the possibilities, like you want to commit now, like are you good? You ready? Like you sure we're gonna do this and all this and that? And I'm like, yeah, like I'm good, I'm good. And you know how Braun is. He's making sure everything's like you sure you're good? Like you sure you know what you're doing? You got this? I'm like, yeah, yeah, I'm good, dude. I want to commit. Let's go. And I ended up walking out to JD's car. They really knew what was up, and they started playing. I forget. It was like, "It's great to be a
Oh,
Florida Gator," like all that
Florida.
stuff. And it was pretty surreal.
Yeah, bro. I remember that day like it was yesterday. And I'm sitting in the truck and I'm starting to get a little bit annoyed, like, damn, bro, I'm getting hungry. Are we gonna go home? And Jack comes in the car and I'm just like, bro, tell me you committed. It took that long. Don't about to be getting in my car being like, yeah, it's a good offer, but I'm gonna wait. Like, hell no, bro, you better be 100% in because I just waited. And actually, a little funny story. I had just bought my truck and I was so bored, bro. I'm running over curbs trying to see how big of a curb I can get over. That's how bored I was waiting for Jack. But I mean, I would say Jack, it probably ended up being a really good decision for you, man. And I would say the University of Florida is very lucky to have you. And so you know, dating back to your freshman year, right? So the All-Star game coming out of high school, your senior year, unfortunately, you got injured. And so that injury carried into your freshman year and the world didn't yet know who Jac Caglianone was. And you had a decision to make whether to come back and play about the last 15 games of the year or get refunded that year in redshirt. And take me through that decision. Obviously, we all know what you decided, but take us through where your mind was at that time.
I mean, just thinking back, like with the whole recovery from Tommy John and everything, is the first real injury I ever had that put me out for as long as it did. And as soon as I started getting cleared to hit and do like the T progression, the flip progression, um, getting to BP, and then start seeing live arms, it was, I want to say, we played Vandy at Vandy, and I was taking BP before the game, still, wasn't too sure. Sully was like, I want you to DH. And I was like, I need to talk to my family. I need to do all this and that. Just because, I mean, I think I played like 26 games or something like that. It was like the back half of the year, whatever it was. And I was like, is it going to be worth it? Like, am I going to go 0 for 3 and then I'm going to be riding the bench and burn a red shirt for the rest of the year? Like, how's this going to, work out for me? And it got to a point where I was just so tired of just kind of sitting around. We were playing Tennessee that weekend. And before the weekend starts, I think it was after the Friday night game, I was like, hey, like, I'm good. Like, I want to do it, convince my parents, and like my close circle and everything. And they're like, you're playing with house money, dude. You go out there, you succeed, it'll be great. You go out there, it doesn't go too well. It's just, another obstacle to overcome. And it ends up working out, for the rest of the year. It was honestly probably the best decision I ever made, aside from obviously going to Florida and everything. But it was different. It was cool, and I wouldn't change a thing.
Yeah, and I think when the world kind of got a glimpse of who Jac Caglianone was, seemed to be that Missouri weekend where you hit a ball dang near over the entire football stadium in right field. I mean, bro, you hit a lot of bombs this year, like obviously 33 to be exact, but that one just seemed a little bit different. That was kind of like a statement like, this is who I am. I'm here to stay, kind of get ready for what's about to come.
Yeah, I mean, the Missouri Bomb, it felt like it was just one of those, like, you're playing MLB The Show. It's perfect, perfect. You don't even feel the ball hit your bat, and you just kind of. I'm not like I wasn't one for crazy pimp jobs, I'll say. My freshman year, I was still new and everything, but I had to admire that one a little bit. That one, it was really cool to see. And I didn't even really see where it landed until we got like the StatCast deal from it. So that was pretty legit.
Yeah, I would have to assume that ball's got to be in that 480 plus range.
Yeah, they said it went 480, but I don't know. I think it went a little farther.
I mean, 480 off the dome's got to be. You gotta at least put 500 on that number. I mean, that thing might as well been. And so, Seaver, coming back to you, man. So now at Wake Forest, right? What what's kind of changed for you mentality wise going into that year where it's a draft year, it's that time to play baseball in one of the best conferences in the league. Has anything changed for you mentally with the change of leagues?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say too much. I've never really had this many eyes on me, I would say, in terms of, you know, expectations and stuff. So I'm not really too worried about it. Like, I've come from where I've come from, and like, I didn't come this far just to come this far, I like to say. So like, I'm trying not to let any of that get to me. We're playing the game of baseball, and I trust my stuff, I trust my team, I trust my coaches, and all that stuff. So like, at the end of the day, we're playing baseball. I played for Team USA. I played in the Cape. Like, I've done similar stuff than this before. Like, it's not. I try not to get too high, too low. Just keep it even keel, and hopefully get to succeed what my expectations. But if not, at least I'm going to put everything I have into this, and give it my best shot.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. This game we play, I mean, it's pretty constant, no matter how good people get in the other dugout. But have you guys started getting any inter squads at all?
Yeah, we inter squad today. We inter squad Sunday.
You seen Mr.
So
Burns at all yet?
nah, they're still ramping up, but
Yeah, getting
he's. I
ready.
think he threw his first bullpen today. It was 96, 97 all day. So
That'll play. That'll play.
yeah,
So
yeah.
Jack, coming back to you here, man. So fast forward to last year, right? And so your first full season, I heard you say in an interview, not sure what to expect. I think I heard you say that you were kind of hoping for 15 bombs or so, maybe 15 plus. So take me through the thought process, man. You get to 15, then we get to 20, then 25. What's the thought process here? Are you just playing the game one pitch at a time, or you kind of know what's at stake here and the records that are about to be in your name?
Man, I honestly didn't even start thinking about the home run record towards the end of the year, and it kind of shot me in the foot because I was thinking like, oh, I'm 3 away, I'm 4 away, like I'm so close to this, and it kind of dug me in a hole. And I mean, going back to Game 2 in the World Series against LSU, it was really just going back to having fun with it. Beginning of the year, I was like, man, if I could hit, 330 with 15 pumps, like that's a solid year. That's a solid year right there. Um, and obviously, end up exceeding that. And I just kind of took it day by day. Like baseball, I mean, just like Seaver said, you can't let your highs get too high and your lows be too low. You got to kind of keep an even mindset. And there's obviously going to be those times where you're going to go for a weekend. You're going to strike out. You're going to do, all the stuff that you hate doing. And, you just got to keep that level head. You got to just relax and stick to really who you are. And, I just really just had fun with it.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what makes you you is that you have this, contagious personality where you just go out and you have fun. You have, probably more pressure on you than most people, I would say, to put it lightly, but yet you don't see it. And that's one thing that both of you guys, you guys are both, touted as some of the best players in the country. I know some rankings have come out recently and, both you guys are slotted, very high. And so, can you guys both just take me through some advice you would give to maybe your 10-year-old self and just some of the stuff you've learned along the way and want to hear a little bit of both of your guys' story and learn a little bit about how you guys kind of meshed this summer. I know you guys are good friends, so I want to hear a little bit about that.
You got it,
Yeah.
Steve.
So, um, so my first memory of like failure, I would want to say, because growing up, we were all like the same size, everybody's, little kids going playing around. I was pretty, good at the time. And then, around 12, 13, people start, getting bigger, stronger and stuff. And I just kind of get left behind. And I remember, I was on like the best team elite team, and then they were going to Fort Myers for a tournament. I got cut from that team. And then I ended up playing with my roommate, Michael Massey, on the B team, I guess you could say. So that was the big first moment of just like, all right, what am I going to do? Um, and I just decided to go play with just a team that I knew I could play for in the summer. Kind of just grinded that out and ended up at Wingate. And then I know I've told the story a lot, so ended up where I am now. But I would say that for sure, like that's the first moment of like where I had to decide, like, am I just gonna give up baseball and just that was my one shot and now, but like that's the one piece of advice, you're gonna fail at some point, but like whether I come from a different spot than the Cags and all those other people were, nobody knew who I was coming out of high school. Didn't go to a big school, stuff like that. And it's just like if you can play, people are gonna find you. Don't. I feel like the D1 or bust is a big thing these days, and I think that's why the portal is as hectic as it is. Where oh, I'm going to commit to NC State, but I didn't play for a year and a half, and now I'm committed to wherever. So I think the big thing is like go where you can play. Like if you play and you ball out anywhere, you're gonna get looks. And I think my path is a big example of that. And I think just I think me and Cags just clicked because I think we played on the left side, so you kind of have to you can't just really shut down and stuff. So we just kind of talked a lot, and I think I kind of wanted to learn a little bit from him in terms of how to you know, approach and, how to handle this next phase of baseball in terms because I kind of had known, my looks and stuff were going to end up going, up through the roof and stuff. So I kind of picked his brain on that a lot. But yeah, but now, we had that whole experience. We've kept in touch. So it's just been awesome to, whenever somebody's talking about him, whatever, like, yeah, like we used to kick it. Like we talk every day. Like this is kind of a good friendship to have, I would say.
Yeah, for sure. Honestly, like going back to when I was younger, my biggest thing was like the daunting thought of the big fields. I was, probably like a little bit taller than average growing up and stuff. Really didn't start hitting no major growth spurts till high school, and I really thought that I could do something with baseball probably when I got to plant. I was finally able to kind of crank balls out of the yard and like the velo started ticking up and everything. But before that, it was like obviously since when I was 4 years old or when I could comprehend what Major League Baseball was, that was what I wanted to do with my life. And Honestly, it's really just like thanking God, just to like have the ability to be healthy, being thankful for the game, being thankful to be able to play the game. And honestly, the biggest advice like I would give to probably my 10-year-old self would really just to be like to have fun with it. It's not going to last forever. We're 20 years old, JD 22, I think. 22. It's like we're
22,
playing
turning 23 next weekend, my friend.
exactly. We're playing a kid's game, you know. You just got to like realize that at the end of the day, everything's not going to always go your way. And like Seaver was talking about, you got to if you get the opportunity to play at the next level, no matter what it is, you got to take it. It's like Seaver said, like Seaver's exact position. Like he was at the D2 school, now he's a top 20 prospect playing at one of the best universities. Um, and yeah, like being around guys like that this summer really just it pushed me more because you see how hard he's grinded to get to where he's at. I'm obviously everybody is putting work in and trying to get to the MLB one day and doing all these big things with baseball. But at the end of the day, you got to have fun with it. The moment you stop having fun with it, it's not a game anymore. It becomes a job, and that's my biggest thing with the sport.
Yeah, no doubt. And especially for both of you, Jack, I mean, I don't think there's a single team you ever will play again in the game of baseball that's going to be willing to let you hit a 2-0 fastball or try to throw something over the middle of the plate. And Seaver had, was it like the third longest hit streak in the history of Division Two baseball?
Yeah.
So both of you guys were the guy in the lineup card circled. This is not the guy we want to let beat us. But yet both of you guys consistently find ways to beat your opponent, get on base, doubles, home runs. So kind of take me through a little bit of the mentality at the plate when you know that pitcher's trying to stay away, and also both of you guys are excellent two-strike hitters. What's changing? What are we thinking about when that second strike is on us?
You really just got to realize that they're going to make a mistake at one point. You know, every AB, you're bound to at least get one pitch in the zone, and it's really just like don't miss it. A thing that I had to work on a lot was not expanding with two strikes. I kind of fell into that at some point towards the end of the year when I was chasing, 33 and everything. Anything close, I'd be hacking at, and it would put me in such a bad hole. And kind of refocusing on what I do best and my whole approach. The pitcher's got to come to you at one point. You get to a two-strike count, he's obviously not gonna, he's not gonna give you that ball right down the middle. He's gonna expand a little bit, try to get you to chase. You just got to really just relax, keep your eyes set on that one spot in the zone, and put a good swing on it.
Yeah. I growing up, I always fought with the two strike approach and all that stuff. I kind of my version of the game. That's kind of what I use. I'd have my A swing and then I'd have my two strike swing. And funny enough, like growing up, my two strike swing was always way better. Like I would, hit 300 on the weekend, and all my hits would be in two strikes. So I kind of embraced that where, you know, early in the count, like I'm trying to be aggressive early, but like I think what helped me be aggressive early is being able to be okay with going down 0-2, 1-2. Now, with my experience so far in the inter squad and stuff, like I saw like now it's time to room to improve because in Division Two they get to two strikes and they just want to get you out of the box as fast as possible. So I kind of just found it where like in my two strike approach, I know I can hit anything, and if it's on the ground, I got pretty good speed where I know I can get on base or hit a ball in the gap or whatever that may be. But I feel like just from a young age, I've always been comfortable in two strikes, and I feel like when you're comfortable in two strikes, the pitcher is usually uncomfortable in two strikes because they don't want to make a mistake pitch, they don't want to get behind in the count. So I feel like if you look at being in two strikes as more of like you're in control, I feel like you would have better success as thinking you're behind in the count.
I agree. I mean, growing up, I was the same way, Steve. I felt like whenever I was in a two-strike approach, um, my swing was just so much more compact, and it was, just really just ball to bat as fast as possible. And I don't know, my dad really grinded that kind of mentality on me from a young age and everything. And I don't know, it's kind of stuck. It's pretty much stuck. Do the whole choke up, widen your stance a little bit. I've never really had a leg kick, so I just really just put my foot up and down, and that's kind of been the biggest thing.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Jack. Especially with two strikes, I like going to basically a no stride. And my thought process with it is if I could keep my head still, I'm not going to chase the breaking ball. I'm going to see that spin really well. And then at that point, I'm just gambling that you're not going to get your fastball by me. I'm very comfortable hitting that fastball to right field. And if you hang that breaking ball, I hope to do some damage to my pull side, but definitely feel comfortable in that two strikes. And all of us last year obviously put up a bunch of numbers we're proud of. And, you get three strikes for a reason. That bat don't end for a strike two. You gotta be able to sit there and maybe a little bit of defensive mentality, but not to get on defense mode. Because when you get that mistake, you gotta handle it like you're talking about. And Jack, we're gonna wrap up here soon. But one question I wanted to ask you. So obviously you have been a social media phenom because you are so fun to watch, man. And, pretty much everybody who watches college baseball last year talked about Jac Caglianone. And with that came this nickname, Jack Tani. How do we feel about that? Is that a nickname that you're welcoming with open arms? Is that something that is a little bit of a pet peeve of yours? Where do you stand with that nickname, man?
I mean, any comparison to somebody like Shohei Ohtani and what he's doing with the game is, it's pretty dang cool. Um, it's neat. I mean, I've heard a lot of different nicknames this past year. It's kind of crazy, but that one's probably my favorite, just because I mean, like I said, that dude's really changing the way the MLB looks at two-way guys and managing them and stuff like that. So I like it. I'm not biased towards it or anything. Well, I'm a little biased in favor of it, yeah, but
Yeah, I hear you. And another thing I noticed too, all throughout high school we called you Cag. You get to college and you become Cags.
yeah, it's I don't know. It's what my coaches started calling me, and then everybody on the team just started calling me that. So it's
Hey, I mean, whatever they want, man. You play
yeah,
ball, we'll let them talk, right?
yeah,
And
it's
so
all good.
let's wrap things up here. And I want all three of us to go out on a question. Let's talk about our proudest moment so far in college and what we want the world to know about us. And so I'm gonna start. And so I would say my proudest moment so far, the last 4 years I've played for my dad, Joe Urso at the University of Tampa, and being able to represent him well and to prove to everyone else that I could, play at the standards of the University of Tampa, and also, kind of exceed a lot of those standards is something that was really fun for me, and to be able to put on that same jersey as my dad, it's just like a dream come true every day. And especially breaking some of his records, it's just so fun to poke fun at your dad. I got my 25th double up on the counter. He ended his senior year with 23. So I passed him on the all-time lead. And going into this year, one thing I want the world to know about me is that I play this game with passion. Going to play at the University of Miami, and I'm going to try to bring that same play style that I've played at UT. I'm a no fear type of player, and I just want to go out there and show people that I could compete at that D1 level just like I did at that D2 level. What you got, Steve?
Yeah, my I would say my proudest college baseball moment, is just kind of what made me at the time like, hey, like I belong. So, we hosted a regional my freshman year against Young Harris. Probably the biggest game I've ever played in my life. At the time, and I'm hitting I think six hole, bases loaded, two outs. It's bottom one, and Nate Lamb from Young Harris, I think he's committed to Mississippi State or A&M, one of the two. He just transferred there. And we knew about this guy. He was good slider, good like ride heater, and I just kind of went in there because at the time people still didn't kind of know who I was. So bases loaded, two outs. They're gonna kind of try to come at me, and I remember hitting it, and I hit a grand slam almost over the batter's eye. And I was just kind of like, well, I'm here, and this is kind of who I am now, and now I got to run with this stuff. And then kind of what I would want people to know about me is, you know, I given the big jump, you're not like I'm the same player as I was before, like UJD. Coming into the squad, like I've always been a leader in the right mind. So one thing you are going to know is it doesn't matter how many people are in the stands, you're going to hear me. no matter what in the dugout, on the field. Like I'm loud, so I would just say that.
Yeah, I mean, for me, probably my favorite um, college baseball memories really just got to be punching that ticket to Omaha. Just kind of being surrounded with the team. It's like, yeah, all the records and everything are cool and something, me and my family will share for a long time and everything. But that's probably like the biggest thing, like seeing my team really come together and get to that one common goal that everybody wishes that they can be at. Um, and honestly, I'm the same as all y'all. Like, since I've been in college, I've gotten very vocal. I've gotten very energetic with everything. I've kind of busted out of my shell from being the typical quiet dude that I usually am. Um, and honestly, like I don't regret anything. And I love the way I play. I love watching you guys play, and I love seeing people play with emotion. I think what these guys in the league and what the guys in college are doing is it's great.
Yeah. And I think one, two, three up and down the lineup
Yeah,
is
USA,
crazy.
bro,
So
for sure. Yeah. Uh-huh.
see, all right, he
I'm
knows,
still on it.
Well, yeah. Yeah. So Jack, we appreciate you having on the podcast, and you'll see all of our faces on TV, hopefully, in the near future, and hopefully doing great things. So yeah, we appreciate you coming on.
No, I
You're the
appreciate you
man,
guys.
Jack. I appreciate you too, Seaver. It's been a pleasure, man. Not too often can we, have a little three-way podcast with, three, major players in D1 baseball going in next year. So fun talking with you guys. Best of luck, Jack. I don't think you're gonna need it, man, but always rooting for you, bro.
Appreciate you guys. Love y'all boys. Best of
Yeah.
Love
luck
you,
this
man.
year. We'll all keep in touch. And yeah, thanks for having me on.
If you drill me, I'm coming. If
I'll
you
give you a
drill
big
me,
old
bro,
I'll give
I
you a
know
big
I
hug.
know you'll want